Hey, it's Matthew, and I want to talk about scams or shady business practices that I see I'm being targeted with all the time in business over the past number of years. And I want to tell you about them just so you're aware. So I'm going to tell you three that are shady business practices, and the fourth one is an outright scam that cost a business $12 million, if you don't already know about this one. All right, so the first one is where you get a letter in the mail from a company that looks very official and says that your internet domain is about to expire. So internet domain is like, mine's mediaspark.com. I've got about 100 of them. And they'll say your mediaspark.com domain is going to expire in 30 days. Click here, or usually it's a piece of paper. Check here and fax this back to renew. And here's what the shady business practice is. That company is not the company you've registered your domain with. So there's many companies on the internet. They have to be officially sanctioned to register domain names. There's only a certain number of them. And you or somebody you're working with or a company that you're working with, they've registered your domain with a specific company, and you want to renew it with that same company year after year. You don't have to, you can switch if you want, but generally you're renewing it with year after year with the same company. This company is pretending they're your domain registrar, and they're sending you a letter to try to get you to click the checkbox, which is basically authorizing them to take over your domain from the other registrar. And usually they're going to charge you more. So instead of paying 10 or 20 bucks a year for your domain, they might charge you 50 or 100 bucks. As part of this kind of shady business practice. In fact, there's a company in Canada that was doing this, and they got in trouble because they were not only was it shady, but they were using the Canadian maple leaf on the letter and making it look like it was from the Canadian government to kind of give them more perceived credibility, and they got in trouble and fined. The company still does it, I believe, and I think I still get letters from that company, but they've adjusted their logos and their language a bit to make it less shady, but still it's still pretty shady as it is. So anyway, that's one to look out for. The second one is when you get a message, often a letter, fax again, that says your company was in some list, has been in some list, a reseller list, manufacturer's list, something that seems important, and it's time to renew. And you just got to click this checkbox and fax the thing in or mail it back, and you'll renew. And then very, very fine print, the renewal cost is like $2,000 or something like that. So what they try to do is make you think that you're already in this directory, and they're trying to target businesses that don't have great communications internally, or there's a lot of disconnect between departments, and make one person think that it's very important that they get in this directory again. It's already been done every year, so you just got to check this box and renew it. And rather than going through the trouble of trying to figure out if this is legitimate, they just check the box and let it go away. And all of a sudden, the company's billing you for a couple $1,000s. Sometimes they'll even call you on the phone and try to use language to convince you that it's already been done and you just have to say yes or whatever. And they use that as confirmation of charging you this money. I think a company, it might have been out of Australia, I'm not sure, got fined millions of dollars for doing this. So imagine if you get fined millions of dollars for doing something like this, how many millions they've actually made with this little scam. Anyway, that's something to look out for. Tell people in your department, whatever, you get anything, don't check any boxes, don't do anything, never agree to anything without the right people looking at it. The third one is when you get a message that says, all right, you've been honored by being inducted into the who's who list or something like that. Other ones are you've won an award, you're the top business in this, or you've been done. And I get these all the time. You're the top 10 CEOs in tech. You're the top 5 CEOs in education. And what you realize is that these are not really awards. They're just making stuff up. And then what they want to do is they want to charge you a couple $1,000s to either give you the award, in many cases to actually film a video profile of you and your company. So you are getting something of value in return, so we can't call it a straight out scam, but it is certainly shady. In fact, I'll give you one example. There's a company in New Jersey that I knew years ago, very small company, maybe 15 people, doing very, very basic educational software, as basic as it gets. Anyway, I remember checking up on their website at some point, and prominently on their homepage, they had a video that said, recognized as the best software company in the world. Now, this is literally what the video said on this. It was a legitimate company, been in business for many years, small company, but been in business for many years, doing business with governments and other kinds of things. And it said, recognized as the world's best software company. There was this polished video profile of the business. Think about that. this small little company in New Jersey that's doing nothing innovative, just very basic software, and voted the best software company. Can you imagine? And I knew immediately what was going on. They got contacted by one of these companies who said, they were voted as best, and for whatever reason, either they fell for it or went along with it. And now they put this video on. And of course, some people are going to believe it. That happens. I also get a lot of calls, about the CEO, top CEO, and so on. They want to do they want to write an article or a profile in their online magazine about you. So they're basically charging you money to write an article about you. Again, it's not a pure scam because you're getting something of somewhat value, but it's all shady in terms of you haven't really won any awards, you haven't really been recognized in anything. It's just a shady way of trying to win business from you. The last one I'll tell you, and this is the one, $12 million. What the scammers will do is they will contact you. And if they know you have business, you're doing consistent business with a particular vendor or something like that, and they'll change their banking information, right? So they'll spoof themselves and pretend that they're with your supplier or whatever, one of your suppliers, and say, look, we've changed banks, and any future deposits of you paying us direct deposits, and we need you to switch to this new bank account. So there's a university in Canada that got defrauded of $12 million, okay? There was some construction, they were building something, and the scammers got the university accounts payable people to switch the payments to the scammers because the accounts payable people never verified that this change was legitimate. And ever since that scam came to light a couple of years ago, that whole scam started exploding, and it's been happening, or attempts of making that scam happen more frequently. So anyway, there's 4 things to keep you awake in running your business. Again, I'm Mathew Georghiou. Thanks for listening, and be careful out there.